That's it. We're live. Hallelujah. Call this meeting to order. Please rise. Ms. Hamilton.
Yes, sir. If you'll join me. Father God, you are so awesome and just so empowering and powerful and just a great protector. And we thank you for all the wonderful things that you do for each one of us here. We just thank you for your presence. We ask for more of it. We ask for your protection. And Lord, we just ask that you send rain to our land like you know it so desperately needs, Lord. And we know that it's coming in your time, and you say there's a season for everything, and we're believing that the season for rain is closer. So, Lord, thank you for that. We just ask your presence and your wisdom, your guidance in this meeting room today, Lord, with this governing body, and your presence with each one of us here. Keep us all safe as we go back to our regular days. And Lord, just thank you most for your son, Jesus, who died on that cross for us. It's in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Item 1, approval of agenda. I'll second that. Motion's been made to approve the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Approval of minutes of April 18th regular meeting.
I move we approve the minutes.
I'll second that too. Motion made to approve the minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Public request. Angie, what would you like to? Just checking. Okay, moving on. Taylor Ramsey.
Okay, for the facility count today is at 35. We have 4 females and 31 males. We have 1 out of county and expecting more this week. Billing for Portales was at $3,135 for April. Quay County was at $2,250 for April. Juvenile paid by Roosevelt County is at $200,080,564. For our MAT program, we have 11. We have 11 in group, 11 in individual, 2 on medications. Our GED program is at 5 right now, and we are currently getting new guidelines for COVID for within the facility. So I did want to let you guys know that we are not going to be doing quarantine anymore. The only quarantine that we will be doing is when we have a positive case come in, and they'll quarantine for 5 days, test again, and hopefully go to general population. Other than that, we're still doing deep cleaning and all of the things that we've already been doing. That's all.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you.
We have the infamous Lily.
Good morning, commissioners. So in your meeting packet is a copy of the third quarter report that we submitted to DFA. This quarterly report represents the revenues and expenditures from July 1st, 2022 through March 31st this year. This report captures all of the funds that the county is financially managing. Each fund is listed with its respective balances as of March 31st. The adjusted column will include adjustments to take into consideration any gains or losses in the investments and any rounding. As you can see, all funds are positive, and these balances you'll start to see drastically decrease in the fourth quarter as some projects will be completed and payments will be processed to close the projects. As of March 31st, our general fund had an adjusted balance of $12.3 million, And this, of course, includes the amount in our investments. And with that, I'll stand for any questions on the third quarter report. Thank you.
Very, very good report.
Thank you.
Moving on, Carol,
I'll move, Mr. Chairman, to go into indigent meeting.
motion been made, to go ahead and indigent. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We're now in indigent. Go ahead, Carol.
Good morning, Commissioners. For this meeting, I've got 17 claims for $5,465.54. I recommend 16 for approval for $5,113.54, and one for disapproval for $352. Fedco Emergency Physicians, one approved claim for $159.52, and one disapproved claim for $352. The patient was brought in by Portales Police Department. Roosevelt General Hospital has 11 approved for $4,726.08. Plains Regional Medical Center, one claim for $202.50. Concord Radiology, 3 claims for $25.44 were approved. I stand for questions.
I move that we come out of indigent.
Motion made and second, come out of indigent. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And I move, Mr. Chairman, to approve the presentation on indigent healthcare presented by Ms. Acosta Flores.
Second.
Motion made and second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Mr. Lovato.
Commissioner Lovato?
Mr.
Commissioner Lovato.
Well, same thing.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. We've been doing our regular maintenance, blading, cattle guards, and potholes. Last week, we had, Amber and I had a meeting with the DOD, with the Central Federal Lands Highway Division about the bombing range entrance off the north end. The plans are at 70%, and they've met all the county's requests. Some of the requests that we had, the request that we had, they had 4 inches of base course, and we wanted 6 inches, and they adjusted that. Also, the northern 2.5 miles was all that sand, and we wanted some stabilization, so they went in there and changed that, and they're going to put concrete down, powder concrete, and integrate it with the sand and make a better subgrade underneath there. And then also they had 2% crown, and we wanted a 3% crown on our pavement to shed the water a little quicker. And they met all of our requirements that we wanted. And sometime in this summer, they'll have their plans up to 95%. And at that point, they'll have a representative that will come and do a presentation to the board. And if y'all have any questions then that's when I can answer what y'all have if y'all have anything right now, but at 95% is when they're going to do the presentation for y'all.
Well, I'm proud that you got everything approved of you and the commission.
Well, it only made sense,
It
that
only did because why?
I think it was 25 years on their plan, and it upped it to 40 years in our plan. So, it made sense on the revisions that we made. So, also our projects, LGRF co-op, we'll be finishing co-op today. That would be South Roosevelt Road Y. They're micro-sealing it as we speak. Last week we did chip sealing on South Roosevelt Road Y, and we had 5 gentlemen from the city road department come out and do some training with us. We had 2 of them on the chip box with our two guys. And then we had one gentleman that was in the distributor truck with our distributor truck operator. And then two of them were in traffic control. And we're doing some cross training and teaching them how and what we do. And then we're going to do some more when we move to North Roosevelt Road A. Also on CAPS, we're on South Roosevelt Road O. We'll finish that project today or this week. And we'll like one more project on CAPS, and we should finish it in June. And it's the Highland subdivision, and it will be a Caliche chip seal road through that 1.5 miles of subdivision. And then on TPF, in September of 2022, we received $2.8 million for road rehabilitation funds. And these monies are for shovel-ready projects. And in the 9 months, by the end of June, we'll have spent the full $2.8 million. I was expected to finish TPF this week. But we went to North Roosevelt Road A, and we did all the subgrade. We got out there, we got looking at it, and we were not happy with our base after looking at it. And the amount of traffic that's on that road, we figured the heavy traffic, we needed another lift of Caliche on that road. I visit with Miss Hamilton, and we decided to do another lift on that road. So instead of finishing it this week, we're going to do some more dirt work. We'll chip it probably in 2 weeks, and sometime in June they'll be back and they'll do the micro seal on it, and we'll close out the TPF. All the money will be spent, and we'll do a closing on that also. Let's see here. Desert West, which is doing our micro sealing, came back this spring, if you call it a spring, 4 weeks ago. And during that time, we had to pull 4 operators from out in the field to do traffic control. They'll be finishing up today if everything goes well today. And that means I will be able to put 4 operators back out in the field to blade. So hopefully we'll start getting around again and covering some more ground. And I stand for any questions.
Well, I don't have any questions, but I've been admiring your work. I did take a tour of AD this morning on the way in, and he widened that road. Well, it just looks like a brand new road. It's really, really nice. And I've been over the road recently, and the shoulders is chipped off, broke off. Some of them was in pretty bad shape, but now it's wonderful. It seems like more time that goes by, the better our roadman gets. I don't know if we're probably someday somebody's going to try to get him from us. I don't know. But thank you very, very much, Ricky, for what you do.
Well, you have nothing to worry about, for one thing. And, over the years, we learn a lot. And over the years, I've learned to put all the tools in that toolbox. So we'll have the opportunity to fix what we need out of that toolbox. And that's just one of the tools that we've learned over the years is micro sealing. And I really, really enjoy it. And I hope y'all like it as well as I do. So.
I have a question, Rick. Why, back to your County Road Y project you're doing with the city?
Yes,
The
sir.
city guys out there. Is that the one in front of Bob Rogers Dairy?
That was AD. That one's AD. The Y is in front of Philmar.
Okay. All right. The one in front of, I guess, on AD. Y'all was working on that. Was that just the county?
Yes.
Okay. I went down through there Thursday
Okay.
morning. You had your pylons up in the middle of that road. Very confusing. It was. When I turned off of it, it got explanatory, but as I went, got off down there to their asphalt box, I guess. 2 or 3 guys was on it, but they weren't doing nothing with it. It was just sitting there in the road. I
Right.
guess they was waiting on a truck.
Truck.
I went a little bit ways, and then there were signs to move over on the pylons. Just a little sign.
So those arrows are to direct you. I know.
It was pretty confusing, and I do know that we had trouble with the lady, whatever.
Right.
But it was pretty confusing to me whether I was supposed to stay over there and drive on the newly asphalted part, or to get off after the box. After I went by the box,
Right.
get over that other lane and drive on
Right.
on the undid part.
The only option I would have is to pull more guys out of the field, which would be less maintenance and more traffic control. And it being way out in the boonies, I feel like the arrows should point you in the right direction on which way you should go. So once you saw that one arrow, I'm assuming you did realize to get in the other lane.
I wanted off the fresh oil,
Right.
and so I got off over there.
Right.
And I was pulling a gooseneck trailer, and I think I hit 3/4 the pylons going down through there, because it wasn't about as wide as that table right there going down through there. But anyway, but like I said, I know the traffic control guys at the end, well, they weren't doing much controlling at all, as far as telling me where to go or whatever.
And we'll have a visit with them, and I'll make sure
But
that
it
they
was
start-
like I say, I just common sense told me kind of where to go, but I didn't know if those signs on those pylons, or it was.
We
I
went
just
to them,
didn't
and
know for sure.
I believe that it helps. I mean, like you said, common sense. So
It's common,
right.
common sense.
But then
should
we're
be
always
there.
going to have the few that doesn't see nothing and just drive over the wetness of it. So
And I met that truck coming in. I met him, and then, like I said, I got off. Then I finished driving out on the newly oiled side.
Right. And in about 20 minutes, you can drive on it
Yeah. Okay.
on a
But
good
no,
day. Yes,
It didn't
sir.
bother me none. But like I said, it was kind of confusing. And I could see where somebody, could get confused or whatever.
Right. Right.
See that. So anyway.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Ms. Hamilton.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Just a couple of things to update y'all on. We have started procuring the new fencing for the entrance out at the fairgrounds, as y'all requested, and y'all see that reflected in our budget adjustments that Ms. Rivera will be presenting. And we are also researching and looking to get the tables and chairs in for the Jake Lopez building. Ricky touched on the North Roosevelt Road AV design completion. And so we're really excited to have them back in later this summer to present to y'all as to the status of that and where they're planning to move forward. They tentatively has said, as long as everything continues to move like it is, this could be completed in 2024. So we're happy to hear that one. We are in communications, and Mr. Garcia is helping me reach out to the base in terms of trying to figure out how to partner on the maintenance of that road. It has just become incredibly burdensome. There are expectations of the personnel that are driving that road. It's, they're 99.9% of the traffic, and we're maintaining that road more than any other road within the county. But they still, we've received emails a week after we've had maintenance out there. And so there's just some level, as we warned them, Commissioner Greider, myself, and Mr. Lovato, when we met with base personnel over the years past, just advised that that road wasn't going to be able to handle the traffic that they've put on that road. Just the chip seal base that was there just wasn't adequate. So this pavement project that they're working on will be a great solution ultimately, but in the interim, we're trying to figure out some additional partnership options there in terms of maintenance. So more to come on that one. We do need to ask about possibly rescheduling the May 30th meeting and moving it up a week to May 23rd. We think we're going to have the budget ready to present. And as it stands right now, we are trying to plan out our behavioral health mini symposium where we're bringing in a featured speaker and the peer support specialist groups from the state to actually present to area providers and the first responders. And it's part of those grant fund dollars that we brought in. But as part of that, our speaker that's available is right after Memorial Day on that 30th and 31st. So we could look at scheduling that meeting on the 23rd, which is a Tuesday, the 25th, which is a Thursday. It's just whatever works best for everyone's calendar to have y'all here, because that would be the final preliminary budget adoption, as well as any other regular business we would need to do. And I can circle back with y'all on those dates to make sure we figure out what that's going to be.
Probably the only big thing that may be happening is graduation, and I don't know. 'Cause
Well-
May's full of it, whether it's college or high school or whatever.
And then it's difficult with me, just because I'm spoiled, to have a meeting the day after a holiday, which that's Memorial Day weekend. So I would like the 23rd on that Tuesday or Thursday before Memorial Day weekend would be my preference. Because a lot of us like to take off the day after. Because I do have some events going on. I've got some family graduating in Denver on that weekend.
It sounds great.
The 23rd works for me too.
Tuesday.
I'm checking.
23rd would be perfect for me.
And we'll do it at the regular time just so that we keep everything consistent, and I'll send out a notice. So the 23rd works for everyone? Great. Thank y'all so much. And then we're continuing to plan out the event. We should have a flyer of information out this week. We're trying to get it out about 3 weeks in advance. We're offering potentially free CEUs for licensed counselors, social workers, and such, law enforcement CEUs. So we're really excited. We're trying to do everything we can to get folks there. It'll be great. It's a great conversation that we need to continue to have because we're already working on so much with the facility. This is just something to further complement just the overall region's response to the behavioral health challenges that we're facing right now. I mean, it's really getting close to the crisis level when you look at a lot of the things that we're facing. So anyways, that concludes my brief update this morning. I'd stand for any questions.
I think we're good. Thank you, Ms. Hamilton.
Thank you.
Commissioners, Roy Lee.
The only thing I got to say is at the last meeting, we had a little trouble with an item. It was very confusing. I know I was confused. I think Dennis was confused on that one item. And I'm just hoping that in the future we can, the preparation and keep the confusion down on stuff. I was very confused. And I still have some questions about it. Some reserves.
What item are you talking? Excuse me.
The item I called to talk to you about, Rod.
Okay.
That was it. And I think everybody knows what item it was. It was pretty confusing. We had to take a 10-minute recess to get the deal drawn up, and it was kind of confusing. So I just wanted to address that.
Tina,
I'm good.
you good?
I would like to, we had a parent engagement activity at the fairgrounds yesterday with grade school teachers. We had an early release day, and teachers put on several activities at the fairgrounds, and we had a good turnout. And a lot of the teachers come up and thank me for Mr. Gary Spinks. They really appreciated Mr. Spinks. So I think we need to pass the compliment on Gary. What a great job he is. We have a super employee there that knows a lot of stuff and a lot of people, and he's such an eager to help anybody, and he's good at what he does. So we have a lot of confidence on Mr. Spinks.
He wears many hats, you might say.
Yep.
Takes care of many buildings, plus the fairground.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I kind of contemplated if I was going to say anything about this event or not event, this tragedy that occurred. I talked to the sheriff last night, but I do feel an obligation. Cleveland, Texas, suburb of Houston, had a major, just probably one of the worst things that's happened in my lifetime, in my opinion, because the tragedy was it was horrendous. It was demonic. And I talked to the sheriff last night only because with my studies and everything else, we have a fugitive right now that's out that killed 5 people, and one of them was an 8-year-old boy. And when you see his profile and you see is he going to go north, south, east, or west, there's really the probability that very good chance he's going to be coming west. So I talked to the sheriff, and I don't know if you want to add anything, Sheriff, but do we have roadblocks or anything set up on 70 or Cacahuata Road or anything?
No, we don't have any roadblocks at this time. We don't have any, solid information that would lead us to do any kind of roadblocks at this point. If we do get information, I know the state of Texas and also the FBI have pitched in some money, so there's an $80,000 reward for this guy. So people are looking for him pretty heavy. Right now, the last that I saw was he was somewhere in that Houston metro area, so they're looking for this guy pretty hard. And as their intel leads them further out, they're contacting the agencies that they need to. Our
Okay.
guys are pretty vigilant. They're aware of the situation. So if we see anybody matching that description, we'll definitely take action.
So we don't have a roadblock in the
No.
Cacahuata Road?
No.
That's what I heard this morning. They called me that there was one. I just didn't know if it was state police or.
And if state police has one,
Or-
I'm not sure, but we definitely do not have a roadblock on.
Okay. Anyway, it was execution style. It was a massacre. Like I said, the 8-year-old boy, when I saw his picture and him being one of the victims, really, really affected me. I've been affected all weekend, like you and I spoke last night. And we just need to bring everybody together and be vigilant. And I know that we're on social media or YouTube right now. So I would love for everyone to look at his profile picture and just send it out to anyone and everyone that you guys know so that we can bring this demon to justice, honestly.
Absolutely.
If it was up to me, it wouldn't be justice though, but anyway.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, that's everybody. Ready to move on to new business. Item 5A, requested Lesser Perry Chicken Communications, Ms. Hamilton, the commissioners.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Commissioner. So included in your packet was a letter I was asked to prepare. There was a very short time frame from Washington, D.C. when they contacted Commissioner Dixon and Commissioner Criswell. They can explain more, but I just wanted y'all aware of those, that it did go out. And that letter was included in there, and it was basically just reiterating y'all's resolution of opposition. They were using it at the federal level. So we just needed that included. So y'all were aware of that communication that went out, and our expert on all things prairie chicken here may have more to add, because I know she had to take the initial contact as far as what they were needing from us.
It was, they just wanted us to reiterate up there because they were bringing it back before, and it passed committee on last week, and it's supposed to go in sometime in May.
On the delisting.
Be heard again on the delisting of the prairie chicken.
Okay.
So we're trying to get that done.
And for the record, there was a major story this morning in Lee County News about this whole issue. I received a call from a friend that works for the oil and gas industry for Targa. So yeah, so it's out there.
It is.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to say thank you, Amber. You done a good job on that
Oh.
letter. I was
My pleasure.
appreciate it.
Item B, presentation of 2023 Roosevelt County Strategic Planning Retreat. A visual,
Yes,
there it is.
yes. And I had it loaded down here, but now I'm not finding it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so very excited to see the fruits of all of our labor from our strategic planning retreat that we held at the end of March. This was something that Ms. Edwards just provided us last week. We wanted to go ahead and do the reveal today during the commission meeting. We will be sharing this with all of our department heads and elected officials, and we're going to be asking each one of them to take back the summary and really spend time with their staff and explain, hey, this is what we went through. This was our process. This was our reflections. We'll share her pictures of the history and everything so that we can spend as much time as we can, just really making sure that our staff understand what the 3-year vision is that we've really established. So up at the top, you'll see that the vision elements through proficient stewards. So it's 2026, and through proficient stewardship, we grow our assets to create resiliency and stability for our county. We have a comprehensive workforce development program that includes continued education and mentorship to foster positive morale, teamwork, and career development. We consistently recruit and retain qualified employees, plan for succession, and value our employees. We have cultivated great working relationships with outside entities to best meet the essential service needs of all Roosevelt County residents. Through our public outreach program, residents can learn about and actively participate in local government, and we plan ahead to reduce litigation and outside threats. And you'll see we worked in more of the technology piece because we kept hearing that come through. So, the game plan is now on an iPad rather than a clipboard. So visually, you start to see some of that back there. And our bold steps, of course, are to develop a plan to approach the city about mediation, which is in the works, find a dispatch solution in the works, and y'all have a resolution for a while. Establish a public outreach committee, assess our communication vehicles, revise the ICIP process, and establish an ad hoc workforce committee to assess the current program and recommended improvements. And these have all gone out to those individuals which volunteered to take the lead. And I know there's some work happening behind the scenes. But I really like the way she captured. You'll see it up there. Remembering our history and appreciating our rural values makes us stronger. That was just kind of the overall theme that we kept hearing over and over. So just everything down to the little details of the animals and the windmill. And Lily and I just loved what she came up with. We felt like it really helped capture Roosevelt County. So we were excited to share that. Again, we're going to share it digitally. And then she's also given it to us in big enough file sizes to where Johnny will be able to print it off, like for our road department, our detention, sheriff, like some of those that may not have teams that are on the computer all the time. We can have it printed in their offices so that it's a visual reminder of where we're all headed and what we're all working towards. But it's also a way, we'll have it on our website, and we're going to have a strategic, like a plan, strategic planning page within our website to where, we talked about sharing this with the public and making sure that we're held accountable for what our goals are and how we're moving them forward. So we just wanted to communicate that, and we'll be sharing it with all of you. But I would stand for any questions. I just was excited to share the visual of what Lisa had developed.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. Item 5C, request for approval of trade in of a 2006 Freightliner towards the purchase of a 1993 Freightliner for the Arch Volunteer Fire Department for $15,250. Miss
Yes.
Lily.
Yes, Chairman. Fire Chief Lang with the Arch County Fire could not be here this morning. So on behalf and as procurement officer, I would like to request the approval of the trade-in of the 2006 Freightliner towards the purchase of the 1993 for the Arch Volunteer Fire Department in the amount of $15,250. The 2006 Freightliner is currently at the shop and has been inspected. The truck is in poor condition as it needs a new transmission. It does not and cannot pull anything. And the Arch Fire Department is in dire need of a truck that can pull the tanker. The repairs could cost at least $15,000 to repair, and even with that amount, it is not guaranteed that it would be fixed because that truck is currently an automatic and they do not make automatic transmissions. So it would be a manual transmission going into an automatic. The seller, West Winds Ag LLC, is willing to take this truck as a trade-in to purchase the 1993 Freightliner that has been inspected by Chief Lang and R&J Service. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to approve agenda item 5C as presented by Liliana
Second.
Rivera.
Motion made and second to approve 5C. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
I'm assuming everybody, I didn't hear. Okay.
I'd like to thank you for your explanation. When I read that, I thought it was printed backwards. But thank you.
Thank you.
06 for a 93.
I'm trying 06 for 93. But I got it explained. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 6A. Request for approval of contract for equipment and premises lease and services agreement for the Roosevelt County Food Pantry. Mrs. Hamilton.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. So included in your packet was the equipment premise lease and services agreement. This was based upon a template that the state issued in regards to the food insecurity grant that we received to construct the Roosevelt County Food Pantry. And it was included in your packet. It has been reviewed by both Leo and myself, and I would stand for any questions and ask for your approval.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve agenda item 6A as presented by County Manager Hamilton.
Second.
Motion made and second to approve 6A. Roy Lee, how do you vote?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, 7A. Item 7 is resolution, ordinance, and proclamations. Consider resolution 2023-18 authorizing Roosevelt County to pick up 75% of the para municipal general plan. 2 members contributing. Lauren.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Brought you a handout today. I provided you with copies of the resolution for the para contributions, and I've highlighted the new revised versions because there was a couple of red line edits from the state that they didn't get to me until yesterday. So last year, as the board, you voted and approved to pick up 75% of employee contributions to para. And per legislation, these contributions have been increasing and they're going to continue to increase. And according to the para offices, the typical practice is to pass separate resolutions for each fiscal year for the numerical percentages that change for each year. But when I was speaking to the ladies at the offices up there, they said we can pass one to cover the next few years. I believe it was through 2020 fiscal year 26. So we can pass one for all of those projected increases so that it's already covered through fiscal year 26. Like I said, they were very late in getting the proposed resolutions back to me after they reviewed them. And they only had some very minor revisions, and it was primarily verbiage because the numbers were all correct, as you can see in the differences there. So the verbiage that they're changing is mostly like the 100, 1,000, 50, 1,000, the stuff that's kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Repetitive, a little bit redundant. So since that got to me yesterday and this edited version was not in your packets, I provided the revised version with the edits that they sent back to me with the red lines. So the numbers are the same on both. The state verified my math and confirmed that the numbers were correct. And so it's just those changes in the verbiage. So it's not any huge changes, but I did want to make you aware. The
The proposed resolutions contain all the feedback that I have back from them as of yet, as of today, actually. They haven't sent me anything else. So after we get approval on those from you guys, we'll have to send them back to the state and they'll have to approve them there. If they have anything else that they kick back to us, we'll have to revisit it. But as of right now, everything's good to go for those. But I stand for any questions.
So on this agenda item, is that inclusive of agenda item 7B as well, or is that going to be something separate?
It includes both of them.
So if I make my motion, we got to do it individually, right? So I move to approve agenda item 7A as presented by Ms. Bagwell. To
second
approve
that.
resolution 2023-18.
I'll second that. Motion been made and seconded to approve 7B.
7A.
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 Yeah, 7A.
7A. That's-
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you for helping me out. 7A. Dennis?
Yes.
Mr. Savage?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes. And 7B.
I move for the approval of 7B.
Second.
Yeah, it's the same. It's just one is for the sheriff's office and one is for everybody else.
Yes.
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 5 yes votes on 7B.
Thank you.
And now we're going to have Lily back in front stage. Consider the resolution 2023-20 budget adjustment for fourth quarter.
Okay, so also in the packet are the budget adjustments for fourth quarter part 1. You'll most likely see part 2. Several of these adjustments include transfers to other funds to cover grant and or other project costs, which we know the reimbursement process requires us to provide proof of payment and clear checks. On this budget adjustment, you'll also see the 5% county match in the road department to be paid for the TPF grant in the amount of $143,937. We have also included budget adjustments to take care of some of the expenditures at the fairgrounds to hopefully get them completed by fair time. And then I know Ms. Hamilton also touched on the grant that we received from New Mexico State Sentencing Commission, the $65,000 we had already included in our revenue budget adjustment. You'll see on there the $65,000 now for the expenditure of that grant. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
Well, I'll make the motion to approve 5C or 7C.
Second.
We're saying that, Mr. Lopez, how do you vote?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes, motion passes. Item 7B, consideration of resolution 2023-21 approving participation in the programs of Eastern Plains Council of Governments. Commissioners, that must be Dennis.
Commissioner Dixon is our appointed representative for EBCOG.
I knew you was the most supportive.
Thought you were.
No, what am I, proxy?
Proxy.
Yeah.
Proxy, yeah. No, I'd like us to stay in there.
And does it stay that way? Because we have to write in who the representative and the alternate are.
Commissioner Dixon is the representative. I'm the alternate.
This is an annual requirement from EPCOG, and that's why you continually see this on the or on the agenda, Mr. Chair, Commission.
Thank you, ma'am.
So the dues on this are about $3,000 a year dues. And Mr. Dixon, she's been our representative. Do you have any,
Starting last year.
do you have any,
I just got on there last year.
are we getting our $2,000 worth?
We could utilize more of their services if, if we so choose. I go to their meetings, I get, lots of information they give us. And that's where I learned about the brownstone The one that where you can call them and they are
Okay.
the brown, is it the Brownfield is what, Brownfield? Yeah, that does like the mold removal. They'll do asbestos. They'll do things like that. There's different grants and things and you can just utilize those. And
Of the year- excuse me,
Go ahead, Commissioner. I'm sorry.
the history on the deal, in years past, is this a consistent, have we consistently participated with the Eastern Plains Council?
Not until we rejoined, I believe it was last year.
Prior to that,
We hadn't been a member since like 2015, 2016. It was one of those that the commission
Been
had
in and out,
ultimately.
in and out for several years.
Mhm.
as of this time, they are broke down into different regions and they service different regions. Like this is Eastern Plains Council of Governments. Every county in their sector that they have, at this point, every single county in their sector is in EPCOG right now. They all joined as of last year.
In their 5 regions,
There is.
I believe.
There's 5
That
right
sounds
now.
about right.
And there's a huge advocacy by the upper ups, huge advocacy and lobbying efforts to have everybody partake. So it's a plus. We just need to utilize them more because they do offer a lot of services, and I think we're underutilizing them at this point.
I agree.
Well, I'll move we approve resolution 2023-21.
I'll second it.
Motion made to approve 7D. Roy Lee?
Yes.
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 yes,
Yes.
5 yes votes, motion passes. 7E, consideration of proclamation declaring May 7th through 13th National Correctional Officer Appreciation Week. Ramsey.
Okay, so I brought to you today the new proclamation. Whereas the Congress and President of the United States has designated the first full week of May as National Correctional Employees Week. Whereas correctional officers are also known as detention officers, are dedicated to safeguarding residents in Roosevelt County and ensuring public safety on a daily basis. All of the men and women who serve put their lives on the line and perform a very difficult task that can be dangerous as well as frustrating. The 32 members of Roosevelt County Detention Center play an essential role in the criminal justice system. The contribution they make to American law enforcement, while not highly visible, are substantial. These men and women are responsible for ensuring the custody, control, and safety of detainees held in detention, directly supervising the incarceration and rehabilitation and of criminal offenders. The detention center personnel are an essential part of the nation's criminal justice system. Detention officers strive to maintain a safe working and living environment inside the facility and often face a significant challenge and dangers. And our community recognizes the importance of work and sacrifices that correctional and detention officers make each day to protect the citizens of Roosevelt County. The general public should fully appreciate detention personnel capable of handling the physical and emotional demands made upon them daily. Their profession requires careful and constant vigilance. The threat of violence is always present. At the same time, these dedicated employees try to improve the living conditions of those who are being confined. The men and women of Roosevelt County Detention Center unceasingly provide a vital public service, working long shifts and put their lives on the line daily. This team remains committed to excellence, and after earning and achieving our reaccreditation by the New Mexico Association Counties Adult Detention Professional Standards. Now, therefore, it is resolved by the Roosevelt County Board of Commissioners. They call upon all citizens of the Roosevelt County and upon all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe the first full week of May as National Correctional Employees Week in honor of those correctional employees, whom we believe clearly deserve our recognition, respect, and appreciation for ensuring that our detention center and functions are operated safely and humanely. The Board of Commissioners further call upon all citizens of Roosevelt County to observe the first full week of May as National Correctional Employees Week in honor of those correctional officers who, through their courage and deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community or have become disabled in the performance of duty, and those who continue to serve in the challenging and difficult profession in public safety.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, before we move to approve this, if we choose to, proclamation, I'd like to say something, and if all possible, I would be willing to do the volunteer work, the donations, whatever it may be. I know that time is of essence. It's kind of short notice, but I would really like to have a barbecue for the detention officers if possible during this week. But what do y'all think?
We
we-
have our lunches planned next week, and I was hoping to have you guys over Wednesday to do a barbecue.
Okay. Oh, perfect. So, okay.
And we want to actually do that in conjunction with law enforcement and the sheriff's office, like all law enforcement, so detention and sheriff, because you'll see the next item is talking about national peace officers and everything. So it will be a great opportunity for y'all to be able to cook out and honor both the sheriff's office and detention center personnel.
I'm usually the cook and or the co-pilot, so I would like to invite Commissioner Creswell to join me to be my co-pilot or either the cook, since Shane and I used to do it quite a bit.
I have a prior engagement on next Wednesday. I'm serious. I'll have to go. I'll be at work. I'm sorry, Dennis.
So that's awesome. That's great. So yes, I'll look forward to it.
We'll help.
So you've made the motion to approve.
Yes,
I'll
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, motion made and second to approve. Dennis, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
5 yes votes. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next, there's proclamation of Mr. Sanchez.
Wednesday, which would be the
10th.
10th.
Tomorrow's the 13th.
The 10th.
The 10th.
Mhm.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. Morning, Commissioners. Real quick before I get started on this proclamation, just wanted to clear something up on the roadblock. I did step out and call state police. They do not have a roadblock set up for that, but they are doing a commercial motor vehicle operation in the area. So you might see an influx of state police officers because they have some guys down here working commercial motor vehicles. So that's what that was on
Thank you.
202. So, and that being said, we're here to have y'all approve this proclamation for the National Police Week, May 9th through the 20th of 2023, and National Peace Officers Memorial Day. Good way to honor those that have fallen in the line of duty over the last several years, and also those that are serving in law enforcement. So with that, I'll just read this proclamation. Whereas in 1962, President Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the calendar week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. And whereas National Police Week is a collaborative effort of many organizations dedicated to honoring America's law enforcement community and give special recognition to those law enforcement officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty for the safety and protection of others. And whereas law enforcement officers strive to maintain a safe environment for all, often while facing significant challenges and dangers. And our community recognizes the important work and sacrifices officers make each day to protect the citizens of Roosevelt County. And whereas the Roosevelt County Sheriff's Office is comprised of 10 deputies, 2 sergeants, a chief deputy, a sheriff, 3 transport officers, and 1 executive secretary. And whereas there are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Roosevelt County Sheriff's Office. And whereas it is important for all citizens to know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their law enforcement agency, and that members of the Roosevelt County Sheriff's Office recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocents against deception and the weak against oppression. And whereas nearly 60,000 assaults against law enforcement officers are reported each year, resulting in approximately 18,000 injuries a year. And whereas Since the first recorded death in 1786, more than 23,785 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and lost their lives in the line of duty. And whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C., and whereas 556 new names of fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 224 officers killed in 2022 and 332 officers killed in previous years. And whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund 35th Annual Candlelight Vigil on the evening of May 13th, 2023. And whereas May 15th, 2023 is designated as National Peace Officers Memorial Day, and all U.S. flags should be flown at half staff in honor of all fallen officers and their families. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Roosevelt County Commissioners will observe May 9th through the 20th, 2023 as National Police Week in Roosevelt County, and encourage all citizens to join in honoring and recognizing our law enforcement officers. Roosevelt County encourage you to initiate, support, and embrace new ways of honoring these critical public servants as they perform their duties in an especially challenging time. We publicly salute the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation. We dedicate these 7 days annually to recognize these great public servants, but we should not hesitate to make every day an opportunity to honor and show appreciation to those men and women serving daily in law enforcement to keep our community safe. Be it further resolved that the Board of Roosevelt County Commissioners do hereby proclaim May 15, 2023 to be National Peace Officers Memorial Day, to honor all the law enforcement officers who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community or have been disabled in the performance of their duties, and let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes. Thank you. And also, something that we're going to do for our guys is on our Facebook page, starting May 15th, we're just going to go through and do a collage of our guys, kind of, let people know who's working for us. And it's not necessarily going to be just pictures of them, in the Roosevelt County Sheriff's Office uniform. It's going to be pictures from when they were kids doing, things that they love. They're hunting, fishing, playing sports, whatever they like to do. And so we'll be starting that May 15th, and we'll do 2 or 3 a day until the end of the week. So y'all look out for that.
Okay, thank you, Sheriff.
Thank
I'll
you.
move, Mr. Chairman, to approve agenda item 7F as presented by our sheriff.
I'll second that. Motion made and seconded on 7F. Roy Lee, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
5 yes votes. Item G, consideration of proclamation recognizing May 4th, 2023 of Firefighters Day and May 21st through the 27th, 2023 as Emergency Medical Services Week. Mrs. Hamilton.
Yes. So, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, the proclamation was included in your packet, and this was something that we had last year as well. So it would be observing May 4th as Firefighters Day and the week of May 21st through 27th as Emergency Medical Services Week. And the proclamation reads, whereas firefighting and emergency medical services are a vital public service, and whereas the members of firefighting and emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas firefighters often put the safety and well-being of others above their own, and whereas emergency medical services have grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine follow-up care and access to telemedicine, and whereas the members of the firefighting and emergency medical services team, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continued education to enhance their life-saving skills, and whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and accomplishments of firefighters and emergency medical services providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week and Firefighters Day, Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Roosevelt County Board of Commission, in recognition of these events, do hereby proclaim the week of May 21st through 27th, 2023 as Emergency Medical Services Week and May 4th, 2023 as Firefighter Day, and further extend appreciation to all our volunteer personnel in Roosevelt County. In the end. Thank you.
I move to approve.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Dennis?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes. Now we're moving on to the media. Yes, you're on the spot, and we want about a 10-minute on the spot.
I did have one question for
I
y'all.
was teasing.
Well, I know, but I did have a question this time. Yeah, so I just wanted to ask y'all, and I could easily just email Amber about this too. But I wanted to see if y'all had any consideration of a burn ban in your minds. The reason I ask is because Curry County recently tabled a decision. They were talking about it last week. And I just wanted to pick your brain and see if that had been on your minds at all to discuss that in the future or never or.
I have not thought about it.
Okay. I just was curious.
I was under the impression we had a burn ban in effect
No.
until it was lifted.
Yeah.
It's never been lifted.
Yeah, it runs out after a certain period. Am I correct?
45 days.
hmm
And there was one last year.
So we do not have.
Do not in right now in effect. No, sir.
We're gonna get rain. Amber prayed for it.
Well,
And so did we.
I just happened to, apparently I was very lucky to have like minds. I did print off the U.S. Drought Monitor, and right now they do not yet have Roosevelt County listed with extreme drought, which
True.
is a lot of things that trigger. So we follow the U.S. Drought Monitor
Right.
with our resolution and ordinance that the commission had put in place in years past. So now I know why I printed this out to bring it with me. Just as an inkling, but right now they have Roosevelt County listed in severe drought. We continue to monitor that. And if the commission hears from landowners and such, then I know, and it has been brought up
hmm
in the past this year as far as just questions and trying to figure out where we were at. But we also have not yet heard from any of our fire chiefs. And a lot of times they're the ones that bring us the request, depending on how much fuel is out in the field and what they're looking at, as well as the conditions. And then, of course, we refer back to the U.S. Drought Monitor.
Perfect. Yeah, I know they just were saying, we don't want to tell people what to do with their property, but also we're really dry. So that's kind of where the difference is.
It sprinkled all day Friday morning.
Comment right before we adjourn. Mr. Chairman, it's been several months since Commissioner Dixon, I guess she had talked to Waverly Criswell, and they had some conversation about visiting the vocational school at Hobbs. And our school had decided to do that, and then their superintendent down there had to cancel because of a previous engagement. But since then, we have rescheduled, and we're going to leave it the 9th at 8 o'clock. Our board members are going to Hobbs to look at that facility. And so I thought maybe you and Waverly, Commissioner Dixon and Mrs. Criswell, if you're interested, we might. I don't think that we'll have our Suburban full. I'm thinking not all of our board members are going to be able to go. So there should be room for a couple if y'all maybe talk to Mr. Kane or something. I bet y'all can go with us.
Okay, I'll talk to Waverly. Thank you.
I guess I'm counted out.
You can't go.
You think you were? My wife's gone. I didn't even know nothing about it.
I'm sorry. Would you like to go?
No, I'm fine. I know all too much about it. that was one of Commissioner Long, Rebecca Long's initiatives for many years, and it came through fruition. So I backed it and I love it. So I'm very familiar with it.
Okay.
Meeting is adjourned.
Dennis thought he was
Lauren,
asleep. Come on,
you need to hang around.